Every year, professional sports franchises and clinical rehabilitation centers lose tens of millions of dollars to a single, predictable point of failure, the knee joint. When a multi-million-dollar athlete blows an ACL or a rehab patient suffers a sudden setback, it is a catastrophic mechanical collapse. The traditional approach to building elite physical capacity carries a severe design flaw. Pushing the human body to its maximum physiological output almost always guarantees a high rate of structural degradation. The harder the engine runs, the faster the chassis breaks. But the physical hardware, the ligaments and tendons, rarely fails in a vacuum. It breaks because the neurological software controlling it panics under metabolic stress, losing neuromuscular control exactly when the joint needs it most. Right now, the standard fitness and performance industry accepts this wear and tear as a passive cost of doing business. They attempt to rehab the damage after the fact, rather than engineering out the point of failure from the start. Eliminating this multi-million-dollar liability requires a technical shift, mapping human biomechanics as a structured operating system to address the underlying code governing joint stability. That exact code patch is arc shielding. It is a proprietary system designed specifically to override the neurological and mechanical triggers that cause human joint failure. Rather than building entirely new equipment, this system retrofits standard commercial cardio hardware, specifically the Precor EFX. By stripping away the generic cardio application, it transforms the machine into a highly controlled, multiplanar biomechanical laboratory. The system runs on two distinct volumes of operation. First, it maps the precise geometric loading of the physical joints to protect the structure. Second, it enforces strict autonomic coherence within the central nervous system to keep the brain calm under extreme stress. Because this logic can be downloaded onto existing machines globally, it forms the basis of a patentable enterprise licensing model with a current estimated valuation exceeding $30 million. Arc shielding takes the unpredictable medical liability of injury prevention and converts it into a highly lucrative, predictable technological asset. The structural foundation of this operating system begins with the Phase A hardware interface, a protocol known as the 360-degree Clockwork pivot. The vast majority of non-contact knee injuries are caused by a single mechanical flaw, unmanaged rotational torque, and the resulting shear force across the joint. To eliminate shear, we map a rigid 12-hour clock dial onto the elliptical footpads. This image shows the exact positioning and alignment required. By restricting movement to a specific window, the 10-to-2 arc, the joint is physically blocked from angles where ligament shear occurs. During these transitions, the user applies a strict heel-driven anchor mechanism, driving downward pressure exclusively through the back of the footpad, deliberately redirects destructive kinetic energy away from the vulnerable anterior patellar tendon, forcing that mechanical load directly into the posterior chain. The ultimate proof that this geometric alignment works is the cup of water test, which requires the user's torso to remain completely vibration-free while the lower body rotates. As seen in this top-down capture, that absolute lumbopelvic stability is maintained even when the user is operating at maximum physical output. The hips organize the force perfectly. Contrast this highly disciplined, real-time joint protection with the passive, mindless cardio routines most athletes endure, where form steadily deteriorates the longer the session runs. The hardware interface acts as physical armor. It ensures the joint chassis is mathematically protected before the high-impact metabolic stress of the workout even begins. With the physical chassis secured, we move to the neurological governor, the Phase B firmware patch. In traditional high-intensity conditioning, extreme heart rates consistently trigger the central nervous system to enter a severe sympathetic panic loop. The brain interprets the physical effort as a life-or-death emergency. This sympathetic storm cascades rapidly. The athlete begins chaotic gasping, heart rhythms become erratic, and crucial neurological control degrades entirely. The ARC system operates on a single, uncompromising rule: effort, not emergency. The active command line to enforce that rule is a strict respiratory cadence, a continuous 3-second inhale, followed immediately by a 3-second exhale. This exact respiration rhythm actively stimulates the vagus nerve, the massive neural highway that connects the brain directly to the heart, sending immediate calming signals down the pathway. That strong vagal tone acts as a biological brake. It manually suppresses the sympathetic storm and forces the cardiovascular system into a state of cardiac coherence. Look at the difference. On the left, an erratic, spiking sympathetic heart wave under heavy load. On the right, the smooth, rhythmic sine wave of an arc-shielded heart under the exact same mechanical stress, a state we call the liquid heart. Mastering this breathing rhythm neurologically patches the brain. It allows the nervous system to remain totally calm even at 90% of maximum oxygen uptake, preventing the physical hardware from crashing. The valuation of this entire system relies on strict clinical and forensic validation. By analyzing longitudinal data spanning 9 years, we track a baseline from a vulnerable system crash in 2023 straight through to an elite benchmark in 2026. The data shows a massive 22.3% gain in mechanical power efficiency. To truly stress test the ARC protocol, the subject had to sustain output levels typically reserved for elite professional-grade athletes. This chart captures the specific performance peaks required: a sustained cadence of 224 strides per minute, extreme metabolic demand at 13.8 METs, and 266 watts of sustained power. Yet generating that extreme load and peaking at a heart rate of 176 beats per minute, the autonomic tracking recorded an SDNN of 46 milliseconds. Maintaining a 46 millisecond variance at 176 beats per minute is a clinical anomaly. It proves the nervous system entirely bypassed panic, remaining in a quantifiable, relaxed, and balanced zone. The final proof of this cortical dominance is a qualitative assessment called the ABC test. This specific graphic aligns that 176 BPM peak directly with a smooth audio waveform of the athlete reciting the alphabet aloud. This incredible feat happens seamlessly after 2 hours of heavy mechanical loading, sustained above 90% of their maximum heart rate. Articulating clear speech while the body's largest muscle groups redline proves the brain retains total command over its fine motor skills. It refuses to surrender to the autonomic storm. This triangulation of elite mechanical output and absolute autonomic calm validates ARC shielding as a closed-loop system for high-output physiological resilience. That physiological achievement translates directly into macroeconomic commercialization and B2B deployment. The ARC shielding intellectual property is perfectly structured as a dual revenue vehicle, an enterprise software as a service paired with a physical train-the-trainer certification model. The initial cash flow engine is driven by the individual certification tier, explicitly targeting the 640,000 physical therapists and strength coaches currently operating in the United States. From there, the enterprise tier scales the software and protocol licensing to 38,000 premium hospital rehab clinics and elite professional sports networks, like this MLB stadium, where the financial stakes of keeping athletes healthy reach into the hundreds of millions. Securing just a fraction of that total addressable market generates millions in annual recurring revenue, easily justifying an intellectual property valuation exceeding $30 million under standard B2B healthcare multiples. The ultimate corporate buyers for this de-risked technology are already clear: equipment manufacturers like Precor, massive professional sports franchises, and wearable tech companies hunting for predictive algorithms. As a 2-volume technological operating system, ARC shielding provides a standardized, deployable architecture for high-performance stability. Integrating the Phase A geometric hardware chassis with the Phase B firmware governor produces an elite, injury-free biometric momentum that no generic workout can replicate. By digitizing and codifying human resilience, the ARC shielding system provides a highly profitable, scalable technology built on the empirical mechanics of survival.